listening to Opie and Anthony. On the virus, Sirius-XM.
Walking down the hall, there he is. Right. Yes, that's Jeff Dunham, all right.
With a big
Jeff.
suitcase.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Welcome to the Opie and Anthony show, sir.
Thanks very much.
I hope you weren't listening to the show. We were a little bitter there.
No, I was trying to figure out what the McDonald's thing was. Everybody was talking, and I was listening. And
you were listening to the whole thing?
I don't need it.
Hey, Jeff. How are you? Yeah.
It's probably a sponsor of yours in some way, shape, or form.
Jeff Dunham's got a book out, All By Myselves.
Thanks very much.
Yes, and
It's a thick book.
It is a thick book.
How long did it take you to write that one?
About 14 months. It was a pain in the ass. It really was. It was like I woke up, and most autobiographies have ghostwriters, and we started with one, and the guy was very nice and did a good job, but after a couple chapters, I looked at, as a stand-up, your words are everything, and I went, this is not me. I don't sound like this. Sorry. So we threw it all away. 14 months later, it was every morning I'd wake up, or every time I walk off stage, it's like, crap, I got to go write the book.
That's like work.
Yeah, it is. It's like a never-ending English assignment. And but there's all kinds of stories, and it's 40 years of performing, and lots of ups and lots of downs, and it's all right there. So
wait, when did you start performing?
When I was 8.
Yeah, okay. Because when you said 40 years, I'm like, we're not looking at a 60-year-old man here.
There's pictures in here that are cool though, man. It's like from like the late 70s interviews from like 1976, 1975.
Yeah, but wait, don't say anything yet. Don't hit the punchline. It shows me sitting on the couch with me. Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God!
Don't say the punchline yet. It shows me on the couch. I'm 14 years old, sitting on the couch at my parents' house, dummy on my knee. It's a 1976. It's a film camera. That's how old it was, because videotape was only being used in sports and news at that time. And the reporter is a long-haired Bill O'Reilly.
That looks nothing like Bill O'Reilly.
He looks like Michael Nesmith from the Monkees.
Yes, look at that. He does.
I
can't believe that's Bill O'Reilly.
Right.
It's a side shot, so you don't really get a good look at his face. But
that picture and the accompanying film that took me 14 years to finally get.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it took me 14 years to get it.
Why was it so hard to get? It was just
because it was the ABC affiliate in Dallas. They had
a hippie.
Right, exactly. See, that's the joke. I was 14 living with my parents. They made me get that haircut.
Yeah.
Bill had the choice.
Bill chose that hair.
He looks like Herb Tarlick.
I gotta rub it into Jimmy a little bit. So you got a lot of great pictures.
He has good photos, man.
I'm sure the book is good too. But I mean, we all go to the pictures first, right?
Pictures, right?
Jimmy, how jealous are you of some of these pictures he's got? He's got George Burns.
Yeah, he's
Bob
got some
Hope.
great ones. My favorite, the one I would want the most if I had any of them.
Johnny Carson?
Would be Carson, yeah. Because I never met Carson.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a cool night. That was the first time I was on. I was on with them 4 times. They repeated one of them, so I usually say 5, but it was 4.
Yeah.
So, that was a Friday. Friday night was the time with Carson. Now it's Thursday night is the best night, but Friday night, that was his night. It was the best audience, and that night it was Bob Hope, B.B. King, and me. Jesus. And it was like, that was awesome. And I look back at the tape now, and I just kind of cringe because, that was a long time ago. But then that was an awesome night. And I did my little bit with Peanut and jalapeno on a stick on stand-up. And, you never go to the couch on your first time. And Freddie DeCordova, the producer, had said, just put Walter behind the couch just in case. And he goes, there's no way you'll get over here on the first time, but just in case. And I finished my stand-up, got ready to walk backstage, and the guy waves me over to the couch. And if I watch the tape, I can see this instant of horror in my eyes of like, what the hell? I remember I heard Letterman saying, talking to Carson your first time on is like talking to the guy on the $5 bill. You've seen him your whole life, but what the hell are you going to ask or say to him? Right.
How much time did you have on panel, though, the first time?
Well, I don't remember. I just kind of fumbled around a little bit, but then I pulled Walter out, and then I had all these lines in my head, and it was like, do you know who this is? Yeah, it's my wife's first husband. And, and he starts looking at Ed, stop sending me all your damn mail. Don't you have some envelopes to lick? Those kind of things.
Oh, right on, bro.
Yeah, but at the end, though, Carson goes, he thanked everybody. Jeff, thanks for coming. Hope you can come back soon. And Walter goes, yeah, well, it'll be a cold day in hell before you get me back here. And luckily, Carson laughed.
Wow.
Yeah, that would have sucked if it ended on a complete zilch.
Yeah, and there are a couple comics you hear about that just completely died, and Carson would be angry, and you never came back.
On the couch died?
Both. Oh yeah, both, and you never got back.
Well, can you name one of those guys?
No, I don't want to.
All right, that's fine. Hey, did Bob Hope talk to you, or you just get the picture?
There's a couple stories in there. I actually I won a collegiate talent show, and that's how I got really started in big show business. And the woman that set all this up kept pairing me with Bob Hope around the country because he would always do these parents' weekends at universities, and so I was the opening act in a bunch of different
Bob
ones.
Hope.
Yeah, well, here's a couple of the stories. My favorite one was before a show one night. He goes, he came up to me, he goes, "So what are you doing after the show?" And I said, "Well, I'm going back to the hotel." And he goes, "Well," and this was when I lived in California. He goes, "Why don't you get on the plane with me and Dolores and fly back to Burbank?" And I'm like, Bob Hope's private plane. Okay, I'm there. And so I literally, in the middle of the night, I'm sitting there going, how the hell did this happen? And if I said it once, I said it 10 times. No, Mrs. Hope, I don't know how to play canasta.
Oh, she kept offering to play cards with you?
Yeah, she wanted to play cards. I was like, I have no idea how to play that.
What do you say to Bob Hope for all that time? I mean, he's a legend, but I would have nothing to say to him.
Well, the sad part was he couldn't hear and he couldn't see. And he refused to ever wear glasses or hearing aids. So, you had to yell at him in simple sentences. And the funniest part was I did a young comedian's NBC special with him, and literally the cue cards were, the camera was a foot from his face, and the cue cards were right there, and the lettering was as big as Montana.
Right in front of his face.
Yeah, right in front of his face.
We got to back up. You were warming up for Bob Hope.
Right.
When he was in that condition, was he still killing on stage?
Oh, it was same thing with George Burns. There's a story in there about George Burns when I was working with him, and it was like same kind of deal. George was worse, though. You see this tottering little old man come out of this limo, and I'm like, what debt does he have to pay? How much money does he owe that he has to do this? And he shuffles, he can barely walk, and there's thousands of people waiting to see him, and I'm like, I don't even want to see this. This is going to be horrible. Then the light goes on, the microphone turns on, he grabs his cigar, he goes in the middle of the stage, and it was like somebody hit him with defibrillators. The guy was just like walking around on the stage, telling jokes, and the timing was there, and it was, and then he'd walk off stage, spotlight go off, and there's this little old man.
Old-fashioned show business.
That's exactly right. But
the
Bob
show
Hope
must go on, right?
Bob Hope was different because he had his conductor, his piano player, and when he'd forget what the next joke was, he'd walk over to the piano player would whisper it to him, and they'd walk back to the mic and tell the joke.
Wow.
Well, Rickles is still sharp. At his age, in his mid-80s, a lot of those guys,
right?
comedians have a long fucking life.
But it looks like George Burns just waited all day to have that 1 hour of energy.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Just got it together for the hour on stage.
And you can see in this picture, that's what the caption was. You can see how excited he is to meet me. He's like, somebody snapped this picture, and he's just like
1984.
Yeah, he's like, good God, this guy's like, one more photo.
You can't tell what Burns is thinking. You can tell he's not thrilled.
Exactly.
It's a very mediocre look on George Burns' face.
Many of the pictures you have, Jim.
I've never had a happy celebrity in a photo.
Mickey Rooney, I was on the road with him. Do you remember a musical called Sugar Babies? Yeah.
No, the name,
Broadway
never
back
saw it or
in the
anything,
80s.
Was it good?
Yeah, what they did
I remember
was...
that one.
It
Who was the woman that was in it?
Ann Miller.
Ann Miller, right.
Sugar baby's a term, by the way, that a girl refers to herself when she has a sugar daddy. That's what a prostitute would put out on Craigslist. I'm a sugar baby. Yeah.
Oh, you know that?
Is that right?
Yeah. I didn't know it was a musical.
I didn't know that. Yeah. All right. But on the road with him for a year, and it was, the guy's nuts, freaking nuts. And he's 4 feet tall.
Oh, he's tiny.
And after I was in the show for about a week, he called me into his dressing room, and he goes, and I was doing pretty well, even with these old audiences. And he says, remember, stuck his finger in my face, and he goes, remember, the only reason you're here is so I can change clothes.
Wow.
What a dick.
Put me in my place, and I just went, yes, sir. All right, thank you, sir.
Yeah, what do you say to that, right?
Yeah.
You need the gig or want the gig.
He was kind of right. I mean, you know what I mean? So there was a variety act there just so he could change clothes for the next sketch.
Yeah.
So,
You were a time buffer.
Exactly.
You don't have to say that, though.
Yeah, exactly.
He was a dick. I met him
But
here.
he's known to be like really abrasive.
He found out I was a dirty comic, and he wasn't mean to me. But we took a photo together, and then someone's like, Mickey goes, give me a joke. This is recently, before his 90th birthday. I'm like, look, dude, you would not enjoy what I have to give you, Mickey. Trust me. I'm dirty. And he goes, oh, you should. And instead of laughing it off, he's like, you shouldn't curse. You'll lose the audience. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, shut up.
up.
Shut your face.
But he was nuts. I mean, the guy... You wish, even when you're 50, you have the energy this guy had at 65.
Rooney.
I mean,
Screw
good
Mickey
God.
Rooney.
Yeah, but to carry on a conversation with him was just to listen. You never got a word in.
Yeah,
He holds court, right? One of those guys.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And it's amazing. I'm very tough here with what I should have said to Mickey Rooney, but I actually listened to his lecture. I was like, no, you're right. I shouldn't curse. Like a fucking worm that I was. Then he walked away.
Thank you.
I just took my lesson.
For the advice, sir.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
I'm looking at another picture here that is just that is just frightening.
Uh-oh.
You build your own choppers?
Oh, yeah.
What the fuck's wrong with you? When did you start that hobby?
Go look at rotorway.com.
Uh-oh.
It's like...
oh, boy.
It's now this company's been in business for decades. They build kit helicopters. It seats 2 people, goes 100 miles an hour. I'm working on the 4th one right now. I'll build them, fly them for a few hundred hours, and sell them and go do another one.
They are pretty cool.
You build them from scratch?
From the kit, yeah.
That's good. It worked out well for John
Crazy.
Denver. What's the matter with you?
Well, John Denver didn't build his.
You know how much money you got? What are you, nuts?
No, it's fun. It's I don't have much time anymore. But
Yeah, we know how much he has. He builds his own helicopter.
Oh, I get it.
It's a hobby. Yeah, built
that's
4
a hobby.
helicopters.
But
I know when we were like fired for 2 years, I built radio control helicopters.
he's building the real
I
thing.
could not imagine building the real thing.
did you get good at flying them?
Yeah, not too bad. By the end of our time off,
Right.
got pretty good.
But the question I have is, okay, now you've been doing it since what, 1985?
We're doing what?
Building helicopters,
Yeah.
choppers. So 25 years, right?
86, right?
But
wow, damn.
the first one you built, you were brave enough to try it out.
Well, what you do is you go to the factory and they give you, you earn you get your license, and they teach you to hover. Then you go home and you master the hovering on
And
your
how
new
high,
helicopter.
How high?
18 inches to 3 feet. Anything
I
above
don't
3
fuck
feet.
around.
Piece of cake.
Anything above 3 feet, the engine goes out and you're going to bend something. But yeah, the first time, there's an air scoop underneath the belly of the helicopter, and I built the whole thing. And so the first time I'm out there and I get to hovering, and I'm hovering around, and I'd forgotten that I'd left a couple of bolts in that air scoop. So here I am hovering, I lift off, I move over, and there's a pile of bolts on the ground. It's like, what the? Yeah, so, not good.
Damn, not good.
And now you're to the
I
point.
did crash it once.
Really?
That story's in there. I almost killed myself.
Oh, you don't have
once.
to give away all the
Wow.
stories because you want people to buy the book. But
Yeah, I did roll it up in a little ball and got a concussion and was out in the middle of nowhere. And
But now you're really good at flying these things, obviously.
I guess you never know what. You know.
He was a helicopter. What are you gonna do? Not much. Once that engine goes out,
You
There's
got
nothing
one
you
shot.
can really do.
yeah, you got one shot.
Right. Well, same with an airplane. You got one shot.
Little collective, right at the right time.
Right. One shot. So.
Oh,
And these go how high?
Oh, the ceiling on them is 10,000 feet, but
Jesus.
But anything above that, and you can't think straight because there's no more oxygen.
How
left.
high have you taken yours?
I actually took it up to about 8,000 feet once, and I called my instructor back, and I told him, and he goes, why? Why? And this was at sea level. I went from sea level to 8,000 feet. He goes, why did you do that? And I went, just because I wanted to see if it could. And
and what if it couldn't?
Yeah, he was not. By that time, though, literally in the middle of the summer, I don't know what the temperature was, but the gauges started freezing up, and
At that height?
oh yeah, at that altitude, even in the middle of the summer in Texas, it was like, yeah. So anyway,
Who knew about that?
yeah.
Damn,
Building his own
That's something.
choppers.
That's pretty cool.
It is cool. I don't have the balls to do that. No fucking way, man.
Is this your first book? But by the way, before I ask you also, I saw a photo on the tour bus, which has like the a little work area. Do you build your own?
Yeah, build the dummies.
puppets? Oh, dummies,
yeah,
okay.
and Ahmed is the one that obviously has gotten me kind of where I am now. But I just finished painting him yesterday. But Ahmed now has a son, and it's wrong. He's the half-dead terrorist. He's like half skeleton, half real face.
I like the fact you named him Ahmed too. That's great. Instead of some politically correct name like Steve.
Yeah.
Or
Steve the terrorist.
yeah, it wouldn't work.
Have you gotten any, I don't know, well, I'll just say death threats or anything?
Oh, sure. Yeah,
'cause this is-
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah, the worst was after we had a song called Jingle Bombs. It came out, and obviously to the tune of Jingle Bells. But that was. Has it been 2 years now? I guess it's been 2 or 3 years that it came out. And, we got a couple of, we actually got a handful of them, and a few of them were of note. And, But since then, it's like, freaking Ahmed, we don't say he's any type of religion. We're not making fun of anybody. Sure, he's got the thing on his head, and he's from somewhere east of here. But, we never...
all know.
We all know.
Yeah.
But he says he's not Muslim. We're not making fun of anybody, except, he has a weird accent, and,
Right. We all know,
he's a
Jeff.
failed terrorist.
Does he say he's not Muslim?
Yeah.
That's probably a smart move.
Yeah, he says he's
Don't cut my head off.
Yeah,
please.
exactly.
He says he's Scientologist. And then later he says he's Catholic. Because he's, so.
The Virus. Sirius XM. This